Part of what comes with loving video games is drawing a huge amount of sometimes unwarranted hype for video game trailers. Undervalued and arguably even more exciting than the games themselves, fans of the hobby look with fervor to each and every press conference or outlet they can find every year in hopes of finding the pure dopamine that is a well-edited, exciting look at a video game they'll be able to play one day, or not. Pulling off a great trailer can be hard. The edit needs to account for music, visuals, pace, and tone, while still representing the work they're showing off, and for many, that includes keeping the meta-narrative around the game in mind. We are ranking the 10 best trailers of this generation with the criteria of style, pace, the story the trailer tells itself, and overall vibe. For this list, we are also considering games that showed very differently the first time than they were at launch, and with that being said, let's get to the games.
So, what do you think?
While fans already knew that the PS4 would be graced with a new Uncharted game from Naughty Dog, a working title was still needed, and the initial announcement back in 2013 was the famous Amy Hennig version before her time at the studio came to a close. However, at the PS4's first E3 since launch in 2014, Naughty Dog brought it back with a fresh coat of paint and a whole new narrative to go along with it. Seeing a high-res Nathan Drake, hearing an older version of Sully, and knowing that this game would truly be a thief's end, pulled at every fan's heartstrings. Uncharted 4's reveal trailer depicted Nathan Drake trying to successfully convince Sully on one last adventure as he woke up in a deep jungle under the cover of night. Getting up, brushing himself off from whatever encounter he was in, Nathan Drake moved forward into the jungle and the PS4 generation to give fans a perfect ending to his story. The Battlefront series on the PS2 and Xbox generation is a beloved skew of the Star Wars franchise. While the 2015 reboot may not have lived up to fans' expectations, its teaser trailer kicked off the hype in a brilliant way. The snowy environment, the heavy breathing of a nameless soldier, and the distant rumble of an unknown machine slowly builds the tension of the action on screen. It isn't until a crashing snowspeeder whizzes by and an AT-AT stomps its feet that you realize you're in a galaxy far, far away. Not only that, you're invited to experience nostalgia of the Battlefront series in name, a hefty promise left largely unfulfilled. Super Smash Bros. Has long been the greatest celebration of gaming within the medium. The love, care, and attention every franchise gets, from character slots to spirits, shows a great admiration for the history of each title. Smash Ultimate is perhaps the apex version of this love, and at its core, the character trailers encapsulate why fighter fans should love characters they may not be familiar with. The Ultimate trailer revealing Simon and Richter Belmont for the game is a shining example of this, introducing a dreary castle of death and gothic horror through the perspective of a terrified Luigi in his Luigi's Mansion ghost hunting garb as he encounters death, only to be avenged by Simon Belmont, is something that can only exist because of Smash.
You have to hit every single bump in the road? Gonna ruin my crew!
Devil May Cry 5 acted as a return to form for the series following a divisive reboot that sought to shift the comical tone of the original trilogy to something more grounded. After a long wait, fans were greeted by Devil Trigger, the anthem to seeing Nero's return to the spotlight, in a trailer ripe with slow-mo, one-liners, and for a game that was barely a secret by the time of this trailer, there's a playfulness that makes it a spectacle to watch at any time. For as much as Hideo Kojima loves film and loves talking about his love for film, it's no surprise that he loves using his trailers to tell stories. This generation saw many trailers from Kojima, one playable, but in its simplest form, his best effort at directing a trailer comes from the 2014 E3 trailer of Metal Gear Solid 5. The somber tone of the trailer, set to the backdrop of Nuclear by Mike Oldfield, conveys the tone of finality and drama that's present in the plot of Metal Gear Solid 5, highlighting Diamond Dogs in their struggle against total nuclear war, and a sequence of military action. The trailer preps us for one final mission in a bittersweet way. After the launch of Metal Gear Solid 5 in 2015, fans were left wondering what was next for Kojima. Death Stranding presented itself with pride as a truly unwavered video game that eased the minds of those that were afraid he'd take longer than anticipated to return to the industry. It also served as more than a tone piece with a lot of concepts that made it, in the final game, in the trailer, like BB, the dead organic life after a void out. Even Sam Porter Bridge is wearing his Cupid to aid him in connecting America to the chiral network once again. Taking all this into account after following up PT, which was very similar in terms of its horror-leaning, mysterious presence, Death Stranding crafted a truly unique game with an astounding cast, and this trailer was the start of it all. Halo 5's campaign was somewhat of a misstep for the series. The two-team dynamic just didn't work as intended. What did work, however, was Chief's quest to find Cortana, someone he thought he'd lost forever, and how this was present in its marketing. Their relationship is the emotional thread of the Halo series, and that's why this trailer is so effective. It shows the audience everything it needs to know about Chief's motivations in this game. Chief clutches Cortana's chip amid a sandstorm, determined to chase any lead that brings him closer to his lost AI companion.
This is your only warning.
Arkham Knight's father-to-son trailer isn't just a great video game trailer, it's a great Batman story in its own right. Thomas Wayne narrates his last will and testament to Bruce, hoping that one day his son would use their wealth to better the city of Gotham. In his own way, Bruce is trying to live up to his father's hopes by serving as a guardian, a watchful protector against crime. In one of the most beautiful trailers this generation, father to son succinctly captures the essence of Batman while building expectations on the road to Arkham Knight. And unlike most of the marketing for this game, it doesn't touch on the mystery of the Arkham Knight, rather act as a tone piece of who the Arkham Batman really is. There's a great amount of pressure that comes with a one more thing during a press conference, and with the third time being the charm at the PlayStation Experience in 2016 after two mostly middling PSXs, being reintroduced to an older Ellie with blood streaming down her face as she sang and played a beautiful song on her guitar, the trailer establishes the tone that we would eventually find in playing The Last of Us Part 2. Hanging on Ellie's vindictive statement of revenge at the end of the trailer would haunt us and stay in our minds until June of this year. The trailer lit the world on fire and certainly lived up to the hype upon the game's release, while setting the darker and grittier tone for The Last of Us Part 2. And now for some honorable mentions.
War never changes.
It's coming back!
The best trailers are well concerned with telling a story and finding a good pace to build as the trailer progresses. You should be at your absolute most anticipated for a game at the end of the trailer, and that's what this one does beautifully. The trailer from 2017's Nintendo Switch presentation for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is our pick for the best trailer of this generation. Introducing the world very similar to how it is in the game, we are slowly drip-fed environment after environment with sweeping landscapes and a soundtrack that acts as a backdrop for our peaceful and meditative adventure through the world of Hyrule. The trailer allows us, through the perspective of Link, to breathe in this world despite showing so much of it in so little time. At its core, as always, you are Link, a guardian knight for the royal family on a quest to help Zelda save the day. And the way that story is delivered here is done beautifully, and arguably for us, better than it's delivered in the main game. Paired with a soundtrack that constantly builds with themes that we know and love from the Zelda series, including the main overworld theme in a beautiful rendition that is not even included in the main game, makes this trailer a definitive way to experience the story of Breath of the Wild, as well as stand along on its own as a piece of media that we can rewatch anytime, anywhere.
娘を救ってやってくれ。
We hope you've enjoyed this installment of Once in a Generation. Later this month, we hope to see you again for our continual top 50 list as we run down the 40 to 31 best games of the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch generation. If you've enjoyed this video and want to support us outside of just subscribing or sharing the video or giving it a thumbs up, you can go to patreon.com/joyclicks, where you can see more about us, behind-the-scenes information, and our decision-making practices as we continue along Once in a Generation and our other shows as well. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.